Yes, sir. We are live now. It is live in the studio. It would take a minute or two to actually get for all the audience who are viewing the YouTube link, sir. Right. I think we can get started. Yes, sir. We are live now. It is live in the studio. It would take a minute or two.
Well, clock strikes 6:05 p.m. It's bang, the moment we all have been waiting for. On behalf of Ajeet Knowledge Forum, Ajeet Alumni Association, welcome each and every one of you to Javagal Srinath, Bowling and beyond. Well, I welcome all dear Ajeets, their families, the principals, the students and faculties of various Sainik schools and numerous educational institutions who are watching via Zoom and YouTube from all across the globe. Well, I'm Vinay Patil, roll number 3282, Wadiyar House, 2005 pass out, entrepreneur, leadership coach, and inspirational speaker, will be the host for this magnificent evening. At the outset, wishing each and every one of you Azadika Amrut Mahotsav. Well, whether you're a cricketer or a cricket lover or not even a cricket lover, trust me, today's session is all about celebrating the amazing human being, the very legend himself, Sri Javagal Srinath. But before we begin this thrilling session, I know each and every one of you are really curious about the life the legend has lived through and he is living to make the most out of this amazing session which we're going to have today. I place three simple requests in front of each and every one of you. First and the foremost, settle comfortably at the place with the best network possible so that you will not miss even a single point of this entire beautiful session which is curated. Second, I know all of you are using phones, so please put your phone on DND or do not disturb mode so that not even a single notification take away that next 90 minutes where we are going to experience the joyful and learning experience hearing Sri Javagal Srinath. And finally, the third and the most important request, during COVID, we all encountered and saw numerous interesting trolls on social media when we left ourselves unmuted. So my kind request, and I want you to ensure that you stay muted all the time so that we don't have the access to what's happening around you or at your home. All right. All right, then let's invite the chairman, Ajeet's Knowledge Forum, Sri Sudarshan Satija, sir. Well, roll number 382, Vijayanagar House, 1975 pass out, retired as executive director of esteemed Indian Oil Corporation. Sir, the mic is all yours. Over to chairman.
Thank you, Vinay. Greetings to everyone. I'm happy to see so many of you on the virtual platform of Zoom and YouTube on this auspicious evening that leads us to the 75th year of independence of our motherland. The journey of Ajeet Knowledge Forum, the AKF, has been gaining momentum ever since it commenced its first session, which was held a year ago on 14th August 2021. On behalf of the President Ajeet Alumni Association, all members of Ajeet Alumni Association, all members of teams Ajeet Knowledge Forum and Ajeet Media, I welcome Shri Javagal Srinath, a renowned Indian cricketer, entrepreneur and technologist. We are honored by the presence of a legend who has kindly consented to grace our AKF platform. Sir, as per your advice, two of our cricket lovers and your admirers, Ajeet's, Shiv Prasad Kenneth, former director, Nehru Science Center, and Colonel Shakil Gundagi will be engaging you in a friendly chat for next over 45 minutes. All our participants are eagerly waiting to listen to you, share your secrets on bowling and beyond. We also welcome our special guest, Lieutenant General Ulasvi Talur, Commandant of Army Air Defense College, Gopalpur, who has taken charge of this critical responsibility only recently, seeing an Ajeet with heavy epaulets occupying a critical staff responsibility. We all feel proud as your fellow Ajeets. We welcome you to your own forum and your family. Your very presence is inspiring to all our youngsters. We are privileged to see amidst us the principals, academic officers, staff and students of various Sainik schools, including those of Bijapur, Kodagu, Satara, Golpara, Junjunu, Kalikeri, Nagrota, Kitturani, Chennamma. We are also honored by the presence of principals, headmasters, staff and students of different schools and colleges from various states, including from Karnataka. We recognize the presence of Shri Aravind, CEO of Deshpande Foundation. We welcome you, sir. I'm happy to welcome all our lady members of Ajeet's family and Ajeet's friends. A warm welcome goes to all Ajeet youth and children. Your presence imparts positive energy and encouragements to our endeavor to diffuse knowledge. On behalf of the team AKF, our special greetings to all our senior Ajeets who are our mentors and guides. We welcome the President AAA Shri Gopal Husur, our mentor Colonel BGV Kumar, observer Shri Vishwanath Patel, and advisor AKF Shri Shashidhar Alabur. We welcome Dr. Ashok Dalwai, who has been regularly guiding AKF. It was he who requested Shri Javagal Srinath to grace our platform this evening. Welcome one and all, and thank you for being with us this evening to partake of the feast being offered by the legend, Javagal Srinath. Ajeet hain, Abhiit hain. Over to you, Vinay.
Thank you, sir, for your enthusiastic opening remarks. Well, dear students, it's rightly said, if you want to attain pinnacles of success in your life, you need to have a right mentor or a right guru or a right coach. And that's why it's rightly said, मुंदे गुरु इरबेकु हिंदे गुरु इरबेकु सामने एक लक्ष्य होना चाहिए और पीछे एक गुरु की मार्गदर्शन होना बहुत जरूरी है. And guess what, we all Ajeets had an amazing senior teacher who transformed numerous Ajeets lives. He was a man with absolute humility whom the entire Sainik school fraternity celebrated. He laid the foundation of the present Ajeets alumni, if you can see together. And today, I feel really touched. I feel really, I miss him because on 30th of July, 2022, he left to a heavenly abode. So let us all stand and remember him in our prayers with 1 minute silence. Can I request everyone kindly to rise? Thank you.
Oh, Vinay, you are muted.
Thank you so much, everyone. But kindly be on toes for a moment, as with the blessings of Almighty, let's begin this session with our school song. Let me tell you, my dear friends, we were divided with different houses, but one thing that always united us was the school song. So let us all remain raised for a moment to celebrate our school song.
Our school is a nice and wonderful place where we are taught one and all to run life's race. Bright may be the light and great be its fame. Forever it may shine and long live its name. There's a grand school at Bijapura, ever flying Ajeet color true. Be they vadeyara vaisala chalutya, Adilshai Vijayanagar Rashtrakuta too. We read and play in the fields. We strive to see and never to heal. It's a form Vijapura, ever flying Ajeet color true. Bide vadeyara vaisala Chalukya, Adilshai Vijayanagar Rashtrakuta too. Ajeet hai, Abheet hai, Ajeet hai, Abheet hai.
Thank you so much. You can please take your seats. Thank you so much. Wow, that just took us back through our memory lane and it was completely nostalgic. And trust me, with the drone technology right now, the way we are able to see the 3D school from that bird's eye view, it's amazing. And it was definitely, I'm very sure people who are watching this from nook and corner of the world, they got that goosebump moment at this moment. Well, dear students, before we invite Sri Javagal Srinath, we have a special guest amongst us, the most decorated officer in the Indian Army, Lieutenant General Ulhas V. Talur. We, all the Ajeets, on behalf of Ajeet Knowledge Forum and AAA, Ajeet's Alumni Association, congratulate Sir on the recent promotion. And well, to introduce him and help you get acquainted with his accomplishments, I invite Senior Ajeet Sri Sanjeev Sindhgikar, roll number 871, Vijayanagar House, 1982 pass out, mechanical engineer, worked in companies like L&T and Thermax in US, now manages export businesses to Africa. Sir, the stage is all yours. We would like to hear and get acquainted with the accomplishments of Senior Ajeet, Lieutenant General. Over to you.
Thank you, Vinay. It's a pleasure to introduce Lieutenant General Ulhas Veerappa Talur. He is my classmate from the batch of 1974 to 1982. Lieutenant General Ulhas Veerappa Talur, VSM, was commissioned into the Army Air Defense in June 1985. He is an alumnus of the National Defense Academy and he topped the NDA entrance exam. Actions speak louder than words, and Lieutenant General Talur's ascendance in the Army hierarchy is an incredible story of sweat, determination, and focused hard work. The general officer is highly regarded for his professionalism and has attended various prestigious courses such as the Long Gunnery Staff Course, Defense Services Staff Course, Senior Command Course, Higher Air Command Course, and the National Defense College. In his distinguished military career, he has held a number of important command, staff, and instructional appointments. The general officer commanded an air defense regiment and an air defense brigade in the Western Theater. Some of his important staff appointments include Assistant Quartermaster General and Colonel Q of Infantry Divisions, Director War Establishment, Director PM and Cell at the Deputy Chief of the Army Staff's Secretariat. He was also the Deputy Director General at Directorate General of Army Air Defense, Chief of the Staff of a Strike Corps, Major General Army Air Defense at Southern Command Headquarters. And lastly, he was the Commandant Selection Center East before he has moved to the Air Defense College in Gopalpur. The officer has held instructional appointments at Army Air Defense College, National Defense Academy, and Army War College. He has also been an observer in UN mission in Iraq and Kuwait. For some of these courses, gentlemen, to be an observer of the UN, of the officers who get nominated, it is by a very deep selection process. Only the best can make the cut, and General Talur has made it multiple times. Lieutenant General Talur has been awarded the Vishisht Seva Medal. He is an academically brilliant and has always topped his class in school. As his classmates, we always knew that he would achieve greater heights in the armed forces. He is married to Mrs. Triveni Talur and they have a son, Vihan, working in Apple Incorporated in the USA, and a daughter who is studying management in Delhi. And that in a nutshell is General Talur for you, my friends. Aren't we proud of him? Jai Hind.
Absolutely, sir. We are proud of him and we are awaiting to hear him. Let us hear him.
Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you. At the outset, let me thank AKF for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you. My compliments to the principal and the staff for managing the school so very well through many challenges I'm sure they face on a day-to-day basis. My regards to all the teachers, both past and present, for giving us the foundational knowledge on which our careers are based, and also for shaping our personalities. My special thanks to Sri Javagal Srinath for agreeing to grace this Ajeet Forum. Connecting with the school brings back lots of memories. There's a tinge of nostalgia. I remember those bats that we made out of cupboard planks, the soft balls, and the pom-pom cricket which we played with notebooks. And also remember our favorite horses and the swimming pool into which some of us had to be pushed into or thrown actually to make us learn swimming. Then those competitions that we had both on and off the field, in academics and on the sports arena, and also many cultural and other events, competitions that were held in country auditorium, where I'm sure some of you at least would be sitting today. All in all, it was a very great experience. And then to add spice to life, we had our share of ghosts, especially our favorite ghosts that frequented the area beyond Vijayanagar House and Wadiyar House. Now I think Rashtrakuta House has come in the area beyond Vijayanagar House. Now the ghost must have shifted beyond Rashtrakuta and Wadiyar House. Our batch was particularly big because we had both boys joining after 5th class and also 6th class. We were known as the old boys because we joined after 5th class, and the boys who joined after 6th were known as new boys. The batch was big, and some of us joined the defense forces and many did not. Then they went on to become engineers, doctors, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and scientists, and maybe administrators. All of them have done well, irrespective of whether they joined the forces or not. I want the students in the school to remember that each of them is unique, with their own unique talents. You may be good in one thing, you may not be so good in something else. That does not matter. What matters is how well you do whatever you are doing at that moment. Just remember, whether you like a job or not, whether you like something that you are doing at the moment or not, you should try and do that well. You never know when you will start liking it. Maybe when you get good at it, you start liking whatever you are doing. Maybe it is studying, maybe playing, or doing anything. Also, learn to differentiate between yourself and the work that you do. As far as yourself is concerned, you should always be happy with yourself. And as far as the work is concerned, you should realize that and appreciate that there is always scope for improvement. If you worked hard somewhere and you didn't get the results, next time work better. So there is always scope to improve your work. But as far as yourself is concerned, just be happy and positive. Things will automatically fall in place as you go along. Then there is this question of failures. Failures are normal. They happened with us in the school, and they have frequented us even after we left the school. But in life, there is nothing like a full stop with any particular failure. You may have got a few less marks in an exam, or maybe you lost a race, 400-meter race, by a fraction of a second, or you came second or third in a cross country when you expected to come first, or you lost a particularly crucial football match or you lost in a debate. It does not matter. Learn from your failure, put a comma and get on to the next venture. You'll always get opportunities to do better in life, and if you're happy, positive and constantly learning, open to learning, you'll always do well in life. At least that's what my experience says. You have many experienced teachers and experienced Ajeets who will possibly guide you better. Lastly, I would like to thank all the teachers, particularly of our times, who guided us into becoming whatever we have become today. Many of us were not very sure as to what we actually wanted to become in life. They possibly thought of us more than what we ourselves did. I sincerely thank all of them. In fact, even I was one of the people who was, one of the students who was hesitant to join the defense forces, but I don't regret my decision one bit that I joined the forces ultimately. It's a nice place to be. I really wanted to try hard and try and join the defense forces, but even if you can't, it does not matter, because I have seen many of my course mates who have become doctors, engineers or administrators have contributed much more to the nation and to the society through whatever they have done outside. So there is always scope for doing well anywhere you go. The values that you have imbibed in the school, the competitive spirit, the courage that you have now will stand you in good stead wherever you go. Thank you. Wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
General, I think we all need to give that salute. That was simply fantabulous, because in that matter of just 7 minutes, you truly lifted the spirit of all the audience across the country. And guess what? All the young guns watching this session, I can imagine, you're already imagining yourself wearing that uniform, right? Boys and girls, take up a dream today, and we all know you can do it. Well, the time has come to introduce the man of the moment who needs no introduction, to be very honest. But yet, it is very imperative to get acquainted with what all he has done today. And to do the honors, I welcome Shri Prakash Sayagavi, 342 Adil Shahi House, 1975 pass out, retired as Controller of Examinations of Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education. Sir, the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Vinay. Good evening, domestic viewers, and good morning to the viewers from abroad. Today, on the eve of the 76th Independence Day, I'm indeed honored to introduce to you on our chat session, Mr. Javagal Srinath, an internationally acclaimed, multifaceted Indian Test and ODI cricketing legend and a nation's pride. Javagal Romelu Srinath was born on 31st August 1969 to Sri J.K. Chandrasekhar, a businessman, and Mrs. Bhagyalakshmi in Javagal village in Arsikere Taluk of Hassan district in Karnataka. He is a quinquagenarian, and 16 days, 5 hours, and about 42 minutes from now, he shall be celebrating his 53rd birthday. His schooling was at Marimallappa High School, Mysore. He initiated his graduate learning at Malnad College of Engineering at Hassan, but went on to complete the Bachelor's in Instrumentation Engineering from Sri Jayacham Rajendra College of Engineering, Mysore, well during his 11 renowned cricketing years. Srinath is being fondly called Babu and the Mysore Express too. His cricketing career took off when he was 12. He captained his school team at the 10th standard. It was Gundappa Vishwanath, the former Indian Test batsman, who saw him play during a club match and advised him to concentrate on his bowling and opportuned him. Srinath made his first-class cricketing debut, tasting blood for Karnataka with a hat-trick in the very first innings against Hyderabad in the 1989-90 Ranji Trophy. His debut in the Test was, however, on 29th November 1991 at Gabba, Brisbane versus Australia, where he took 3 wickets. 3 years later, Srinath played his first home Test in 1994 at Mumbai against the West Indies. He took 5 wickets and scored 60 in the second innings to be named the man of the match as India won by 96 runs. With a high arm action, muscular shoulders, and bowling from wide of the crease on his given day, Srinath was lethal and had the ability to send any opposition batting lineup back into the pavilion. He went on adding variations to his game, slowly mastering the art of bowling, leg cutters, and slower deliveries. The Asian Test Championship match against Pakistan in 1999 at the Eden Gardens was a historic occasion. Srinath has the world's second best bowling figures on the losing side in a test match, 13 wickets for 132 runs, which also is his only 10-wicket haul. His personal best has been of 8 for 86 at Kolkata in 2000 versus the Pakis. His finest moment came during the Ahmedabad Test in 1996 when he single-handedly struck 6 for 21 to demolish the South African batting lineup. Srinath's debut at the ODI on 18th October 1991 versus Pak at Sharjah in the Wills Trophy was a month earlier to his Test cricket entry. A master with the cricketing ball, Srinath went on to become one of the most celebrated seamers the nation put forth in the international circuit. He is India's second highest ODI wicket taker with 315 scalps and the first bowler to take 300 ODI wickets for India. The career of every sports person is always marred with ups and downs due to injuries and being out of form. Srinath, as a pace bowler, was no exception to this. Injuries hindered his progress and ruled him out of the 1997 tour of the Caribbean. Despite the emergence of young blood, Srinath continued to remain the linchpin of the Indian pace bowling attack. He once said prior to his retirement from cricket, and I quote, "A lemon squeezed too hard will only yield a bitter juice. There has to be a line drawn somewhere," unquote. And he drew the line himself in June 2002 and bid adieu to Test cricket, ending up with a record tally of 236 wickets from 67 tests for an Indian pacer, next only to Kapil. It was at the behest of the then Indian captain Sourav Ganguly, Srinath stayed to play the ODI World Cup in 2003, where he scalped 16 wickets from 11 matches. It wasn't his day to add a bidding perfect feather in his cap at the World Cup final versus Australia. It was then that Srinath hung up his boots with a record total of 315 wickets from 229 ODIs, which remains till date or as the highest wickets taken by an Indian fast bowler. Srinath's underrated batting skills as a pinch hitter was impressive. Who can forget the day when he and Anil Kumble batted to help the country win the third ODI match of Titan Cup against Australia in Bangalore 1996, the cup which eventually India won. He at times batted in top 5 slots and scored 4 Test and 1 ODI 50. He is a very cool, soft-spoken, down-to-earth person. When Indian opener S. Ramesh ran to catch a skier of Wakhar Yunis in 1999 at the Firoz Shah Kotla, he was advised by Srinath, the bowler himself, not to catch it in order to facilitate Anil Kumble secure his record 10th wicket of the innings, which ultimately Kumble achieved. Indeed, a rare display of humane persona. He was opportuned to enter the cricket administration in 2010 as a secretary of KSCA. He has played some league cricket too in England. He has been a fitness freak and loves to jog and travel. Srinath till date holds the record for bowling the fastest delivery ever by an Indian speedster at an 157 kilometers per hour, achieved during the India's 1996 tour of South Africa. He has been awarded the Indian Cricketer of the Year in 1992. Srinath was also honored by the Indian government with the prestigious Arjuna Award in 1996. Post-retirement, the pacer had a stint as a TV commentator and later in April 2006 went on to become a member of the ICC match referee panel. He has refereed 35 Test matches, 194 ODIs, and 60 T20s till as recently as July 2022. Srinath believes in the use of technology to know the mistakes by analysis of the bowling data, but still cites for the coach's abilities in physically executing the solutions. His knowledge has been aptly utilized by the MRF Pace Foundation to the benefit of the bowlers. As an entrepreneur, Srinath, along with 4 others, have happily invested in Coup, which is one of the most talked about social media platforms for India to bring the voices of the Indian language audience onto the internet. Srinath is among the four Sris born to his parents, the other three Sris being Srinivas, Sri Lakshmi, and Sri Lalita. He indeed is from a full-blown family of engineers. Married to Madhavi Patravali, the couple has a young son. Well, I think it shall be more apt to listen to the legend himself on bowling and beyond. Jai Hind, Ajeet hai, Abit hai. Thanks and over to Vinay.
Thank you, sir, for my goodness. Such a detailed introduction for millennials like us. We actually emulated him. I still remember when we used to go to ground, literally, Srinath sir, this style, it used to be, even on the roads, we used to try to do this and emulate. Thank you so much. And, reinvigorating all those memories and bringing in front of us today. Well, that through this introduction, we all got acquainted with Sri Javagal Srinath today. But let me tell you, my dear friends, there is the things which are not in public domain that we need to find out today from Sri Javagal Srinath. And to do that, we have the anchors for the occasion. The first anchor today, Dr. Shiv Prasad Kenaz, 505 Vijayanagar, 1977 pass out, worked with the Government of India in Science Museum for 35 years. Let me use this word, Science Museum for 35 years. I'll tell you the reason. Second anchor for the day, Colonel Shakil Gundagi, 785 Vijayanagar House, 1981 pass out, served with Maratha Light Infantry Regiment and Army Ordnance Corps. Now, an engineer, software engineer, prestigious Oracle. It's in Oracle, a third largest software firm. Well, the reason I mentioned about museum, simply because it's a deadly combination of anchors. One, through his service in national museums, surely knows how to dig history and secrets from Javagal Srinath. And at the same time, our colonel, I'm very sure you're going to fire the rapid fire questions through that in the form of bullets. Well, let me tell you, my dear friends, it's going to be astonishing session, and I am keeping my fingers crossed. I hope you too are. So, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. Time has come to listen to one and the only legend, Sri Javagal Srinath.
Thank you, Vinay, for a wonderful welcome that Prakash Saigamiji has given. In fact, he has picture painted the vast canvas of Srinath's life in a brief period of just 7 minutes. Hearing from Prakash is one thing, but then hearing from the legend himself, the Mysore Express himself, is a different thing. So the first question to you is, it's been a fascinating journey which Prakash has actually picture painted from Javagal to moving to Mysore to becoming the Mysore Express, the fastest space bowler of India, the Arjun Awardee winner in the very first year, the best of the cricketer of the year, an engineer, entrepreneur, cricket administrator, and now a referee as well. So can you please highlight some of the nostalgic feelings or memories that you have encountered passing through these fascinating years? I'm sure there must have been trials and tribulations as well.
Namaskara, Ellargo. Shiv Prasad, thank you for everything. That was a detailed introduction. First of all, I think I want to congratulate everybody here on the 75th Independence Day that we are going to celebrate tomorrow. I think it's a wonderful occasion for all of us. More importantly, I think I'm amazed with the Bijapur Sainik School, the way they have come together and the way they have held on to their alumni for all these years, and to show this commitment, to the school that they have gone through. And it is not easy. I don't think any other college, any other school in this country that I know has shown this kind of commitment. I think the discipline from this school must be amazing. I think one of the teachers that was shown just now, I think he must have really played a huge role in binding this college and the school together and to bring out the discipline, and that has sustained for the rest of their lives. First of all, congratulations on that one as well. I think some of the things that I have done in my career is, some of them are, unconsciously I might have done few things right, and of course I have made several mistakes as well. Sport was more of a hobby, more of a, it was just a time where you love this sport, and cricket was probably the only one that was played around during our times. So there was no other sport that we could probably have access to. And that's because it was easy. You take the ball and a bat and more or less the job is done. The boys were never scared. They were already, 20 boys on every streets, and we were all outdoors. Nobody was indoors. So therefore, cricket was only sport that we could play during our younger days. And I was one who would never ever go back to home until the call came from the house. So I used to be enjoying playing this game of cricket. Slowly, I could see myself doing better in cricket. But most importantly, I think, coming from a typical middle-class family, it was all about education. It was all about getting a degree. It was all about just like anybody else here. And then, you represent the school, then you represent Mysore, then you represent Karnataka state. I always thought, this was more of a hobby, a sport that you loved and you just go and enjoy. But slowly it started, I could see the better side of the sport. Even till I played for India, I played for Karnataka State under 23. Then I played for Ranji Trophy, and then that's the chronological order of how you get to the Indian side. And then I was picked for the Indian side. And up until then, I never ever thought that cricket would be my profession. Engineering would be my profession, but this is something which I loved, which I paid for passion. I never thought this as profession. Now that is probably the background that we come from. India, even now, I believe that sport is still amateur. It is not a profession yet for many, unlike other sports, because of the population that what we have. It's a steep competition for everything. And to allow somebody to take sport as a career right from the day one, when he's around 12, 13 or 14, and to ask him to make this as a career is quite a risky thing. I would even now say that have a degree and also play sport together. This has been my mantra to everybody all these years. So, you probably after 1 or 2 years of my international cricket, I realized that this is the time for me to stand up and then change gears, get that focus where you see this as a profession for the next 10 years. And also the privilege, the opportunity that not many get, but I was in a way fortunate to be playing for India. And then, then I think a lot of you're exposed to many things in life. That brings that resoluteness to continue this as a profession. However, I didn't want it to finish. I didn't want it to be on the non-finishing end of my degree. So in 1996, 97, when I did my shoulder, I had an operation. And during that period, I went back to college and then finished my 4 or 5 subjects. So a degree is such an important part, integral part of anybody's life. I mean, if you go back, the way the society is structured, in India, where, we have the biggest segment is the middle class segment. And the first thing that everybody asks is, what degree have you got? And it becomes such an, ID for you to say, okay, I have a degree at least. So having studied all my life, it was important for me to possess this degree. I was employed with Vijaya Bank. They came at a very young age of mine to recruit me while I was still a student. Anil Kumble and myself, we both joined at the same time. And then we became officers there. Then my cricketing career continued post my operation. From 2003 onwards, I played my final ODI against Australia in the finals, which wasn't really the best because we lost the finals of the World Cup in 2003. We are up against one of the best teams in the world. Then again, I tried a bit of commentary, was in the media. Then I think the closest that you can get to the sport back again is through the mastering. And I think that's something which I love. Mastering was more ornamental to start with, but now it has become part of the rules and regulations, or good responsibility as well. So this is where I stand. There are a lot of learnings that has happened in this career of being a sportsman, managing sports and education together. I lost few games, won few games for India, learned a lot there again. All I would say is that we don't stop learning at all. and most of the times, when we see a lot of good things happening around, we are humbled, and we still want to be learning a lot of things. I think I got plenty of experience when I was part of the KSCA administration. I think that is one place, a shortcut to the management. I mean, even you won't get the skill sets if you go to Harvard or Stanford. I think KSCA one stint is good enough for you to, understand and learn a lot of things. So, this is where I am, doing my mass referring job. I can probably go a little more detail with your questions.
Oh, such a pleasure, sir. And in such short time, you've taken us to a vast canvas of your own life in your own words, sir. But what humbled me is, even before you began yourself, you started speaking up highly about the school, our discipline, and also spoke about the 75 years of independence and the middle class that all of us are. That, like most of us, I'm sure you too were aspiring to be an engineer. So since you spoke about independence and the middle class, so most of the Sainik School boys also come from the humble background and middle class. So this is the 75 years you rightly pointed out. In fact, speaking about cricket, I think it typifies the unity in diversity. When India made that debut in 1932, there were about 18 players, different religions, I think 4 religions, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Parsi. And then, you had the people speaking different languages, people having different food habits, yet they were united by one spirit to represent India. That you had a great honor for about 12 years, sir. I'm sure you too must have faced a lot of this unity in diversity whenever you played with so many people, sir. And also you're so humble. So can you please take us through this, how the team was united in diversity?
Prasad, you mentioned just now that there are a lot of people who are watching this, and I see a classroom sitting here and listening to me, and they all come from the same background of middle class and lower middle class. And I can promise you that the lower middle class and the middle class is a wonderful foundation for growth. I think, you understand the value of money better. You understand a lot of things that the parents go through. You understand there are limits in the way we look into life, the values and the kind of people that we I think that teaches us, the middle class system teaches us that to say no to few things in life. I think the biggest thing that taught me as a middle class, coming from middle class family, is that I can't afford it or I don't deserve it at this point in time. This is probably the most important, value systems that we imbibe during our times. I mean, we never, at the same time, we never felt dearth of anything, even from our parents' side or even from the society that we lived in. So, I can't even emphasize more on how important to have that kind of environment when you grow up, and the middle class gives you everything, anything, and it shapes you into a wonderful, human being to take the world head on. I'm sure most of us here come from a typical middle class, and sometimes a pity with kids who have affluent parents. It becomes very difficult for them to understand life, and even if they excel well, hats off, blessed to be part of this middle class system. And therefore, even in our cricketing, sometimes we might think that we're a little cautious in the way we walk, but I think that is better than making rash decision during my upcoming careers.
Thank you, sir. I mean, there are students listening from Sainik School Satara, Sainik School Nagrota, of course, our own alma mater, Sainik School Bijapur. So, by any chance, 1983 was a path-breaking year for Indian cricket. The World Cup was won. By any chance, sir, you were able to listen to the commentary or see some matches? And was that the time that when you decided that you should try to aspire to be a cricketer?
I didn't get you. Can you just repeat the question again, please?
The 1983 World Cup.
Oh, yes. I think
so. Was it
Some of the-
inspiration for you?
Yes, I think the television came at the right time to India. That was a time when of course, we didn't have television. We used to go around to people's houses to watch the cricket matches, and it was so much fun. And then I think 83 winning the World Cup and the introduction of television. So up until then, it was all about, we used to imagine or probably give some kind of impressions to the thoughts, what we heard from the commentators. We used to have our own imagination, but television made it easy for us to express our imaginations or even make it a reality. Watching matches on television was as good as we playing for India. I think, it invokes a lot of emotions when you watch India winning those days, especially. If India were to lose, we used to really be in a state of depression for some time until India won the next match. These kind of emotions are important for us to get stuck to the game. We were fortunate, and I really thank the 1983 team for winning that World Cup and then instilling that confidence that, we can play a role at the highest level. That's at the international level. Such wins make, really instills a lot of confidence down the level. And I think we as kids adored that win in 1983, and winning a World Cup all of a sudden was such a huge thing for us. We thoroughly enjoyed that. And then I think I have taken a lot of inspiration from that particular series, as well as in 1985, we remember that India won the World Championship in Australia. I think, television, Channel 9 has come up with some wonderful broadcast techniques those days, and we really enjoyed. So, first of all, I think your passion of playing should somewhere coincide with these kind of wins, and that will double your motivation and inspirations. I think we're fortunate to have. So, when I think about my career, it is never complete without those incidents to take place and those successes. I think that will have a cascading effect on us. So what we do today, how we lead a life, how do we perform in life, that has a cascading life for the future generation as well. So, it is all about learnings from the others.
Thank you, sir. I hand over to my colleague, Shakil, Colonel Shakil, yours, please.
Thank you very much, Shiv Prasad. Now coming in from the Bemel Road end to go to Srinath, after the pavilion end from Shiv Prasad. Yeah, you just mentioned about the 1983 World Cup. We also had our legend Gundappa Vishwanath, I believe, who had a hand in spotting your talent, and then of course the dream debut in Hyderabad. What were the initial days like, playing for under 23 juniors in Karnataka and going on to make your Ranji debut against a strong Hyderabad team, getting that hat-trick in the first innings and almost one in the second? What were those initial, days of, enthusiasm?
I think in 1989, Anil, myself, Avinash Vaidya, another guy from Hubli, then we had Girish Reddy, who is now in US. So all four of us, I think we had a great under 23 series. We beat Kerala, given them first innings lead.
Wow.
So we had a good stint, all of us. So Karnataka team inducted four of us. So GR Vishwanath was the selector, and top gentleman, as we all know, the selections were fair and we were brought into the side. And, sometimes few good things fall in place for you. And it was Roger Binney, one of the best human beings that I have played under. So Roger Binney was the captain. And then, he used to just give the ball in my hand and say, just go do your best. Whether I bowl down the leg side, whether I bowl on the wide outside the off stump. I mean, he would never utter a word. You need captains like that who doesn't really interfere with you for too long and or frequently. And when you have such people, that kind of energy is important. That's why that's why I always felt that we need to be watchful about what we say, what we speak, what we think about others. And I think Roger did that without making an effort on it. And without my knowledge, I got 2 wickets in a row on the last 2 balls of that over, and then again the first ball of the next. I was myself not aware that I had a hat-trick. had gotten a hat trick. And then I was reminded by somebody that, hey, you got a hat trick because, you know, there were 2 wickets from the previous over and this is the first one. You know, it was like a surprise to me. And I think when you get a hat trick on debut, whatever, I think those will stay with you for a longer period. And then that gives you confidence to grow as well. Even then I was like, actually, you know, I played cricket. So, you know, it was nice to represent Ranji Trophy. That's it. Now let me focus back on education. So more or less, that was the thinking that I had possessed then. You know, Anil was the only one who always believed that I want to play for India. I will do my engineering and also play for India. You know, he was so firm and resolute about it. I wasn't actually. You know, but good things happened and I went further on. So that was, I think that's the reason why I have, you know, a lot of, even today when I pass Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Gymkhana, I would want to go walk onto that field. And then, you know, that you have that ceremonies. That is nice to have such things. I get an opportunity, I just go walk around from the end where I bowled more, you know, mainly, get a feel of that. It's very nostalgic. And, you know, I enjoy and I celebrate such moments even today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And you mentioned Roger Binney, one of our heroes of our 1983 World Cup win. And such a gentleman, man of few words. Roger Michael Humphrey Binney. Who would call this man an Indian? That's what Henry Blofeld had mentioned once, tongue in cheek, of course. After the 1989, I think, debut, you were asked to bowl at the nets to Dilip Vengsarkar, the colonel.
Yes.
And I believe you let go a barrage of short pitch delivery and then really softened him up and then bowled the perfect Yorker.
What happened, Shakilji, I think you have done real due diligence of my career. Yeah, I think Bishan Singh Bedi was the coach and the Indian team was leaving for England. He called me and said, you know, why don't you come and bowl? Because we need a lot of net bowlers. The pitch was pretty good, was a little damped as well. So you want to impress upon people in those days.
Yes.
Or you just want to go bowl fast. And Vengsarkar, I bowled a couple of bouncers and then he didn't like it. And then he said, why don't you pitch the ball up? And then that ball, without my knowledge, it became a Yorker and hit his foot. And then he threw his bat. And in the fit of that, he said, asked me to say that, you know, none of you Indian bowlers bowl like this in the match. You only bowl well in the practice. And I was a little disappointed. And then I was taken to the side by Bishan Singh Bedi. And he said, no, that's all right. You know, people lose temper once in a while and they are all in a preparing mode. They don't want to be injured before going to the series. I think that was a wonderful experience. And also we got a little bit of more endorsement with that incident.
Kapil
Dev gave me a shoes.
Wow.
So which was like a biggest gift that I could ever get. And
wow.
when I came back to Mysore with the shoes, there were so many people coming into my house to look into the shoes.
Must have been a real great moment for you. Yeah.
It makes this life very interesting.
Wow. Yorking the colonel himself, that was great. Are we having some problem with the
Yes, sir.
audio?
No, you're okay.
Yeah, we are okay. Okay.
And with the issue from Srinath, sir.
Yeah, I think so. Real great conversation going on. I just hope we can get him back. Yeah, we hold on for a second. Just a minute. Yeah, I think he'll be back on the pitch soon.
Yep.
Yeah, is he back?
I am back.
Okay. Yeah, that was great, Javagal. And for a fast bowler, most fast bowlers are very aggressive on the pitch and off the field. And you were as fast as India could get. I think apart from Mohammad Nisar, who played in the 1932 test, and then of course Kapil Dev, we really did not have true fast bowlers until of course you came on the field, lanky 6'3" and bowling those great thunderbolts. But fast bowlers are aggressive in your face, you know, but you are not aggressive in that sense. You are slightly different. What was the difference? I mean, personality, upbringing, what?
Before I answer that question, I think Mohammad Isar, what they say, was probably the fastest that India has produced, which we have a to watch. But I think it is nice to admit that. And number two is that then we had Ramakant Desai, who was at some stage. He was not very tall, but I think he was very pacey. I've heard a lot of him. And then I think there are a lot of other fast bowlers I would like to mention who are quick. Abhay Kurvilla, who is the general manager of BCCI now, he was one of the good fast bowlers that we have had. Then we have had the T.A. Shekhar from Tamil Nadu, who used to also played for Railways. I think he was fast.
Now he is the bowling coach as well, Shekhar.
He was the bowling coach for some time. And then we had from Bombay, we had Raju Kulkarni, who was quick. Then we had Rajan Singh Gai, who was quick. When as an youngster, when I used to watch all these people, you take inspiration from them. So I feel that this life is so interdependent on one another that I think everybody in one way or the other. I mean, not necessarily that to come and deliver something to you, but the way you watch them, the way you kind of take inspiration from them, I think that even says that they have again contributed to your career. I want to believe in that sense that everybody has played their role directly or indirectly in most of our careers.
That is really great.
That's your question of being aggressive. Everybody has their own way of doing things. I think television has really pumped up lots of players to say all these nasty things and stuff. And I as a master referee, was the first one to go and talk to them and say, look, your aggression should be in terms of getting wickets and scoring runs or playing the game in the right spirit. But emotions can be expressed, disappointments can be depicted, or it comes out naturally. But there is a line for all these things. But if you're playing games for the television, I am the first one to come and find your people. So as a master player, I have played to all the players. But I think a lot of players play for the television, which is not probably the best thing to do.
Thank you very much. I think
I would never do that, but I think people love it. By the end of the day, I think the spectators don't want a plain vanilla way of playing cricket. They need this passion.
Yeah, sports is a spectacle after all. Yeah, today.
Exactly. But as long as they are limits, I'm happy to endorse that. But it should not go beyond limits. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great lesson for all our young students and Ajeet's here. Now over to my colleague Shiv Prasad for the next set.
Thank you, Shakil. So fascinating. Quintessential Srinathji coming out with the answers, which again speaks of your simplicity. So I'm reminded about two series which you were a part of. The South Africans, because of the apartheid, for 22 years they were out of cricket. They came to India in 1991, which you were a part of, three ODI series. The captain Clive Rice told he felt like the man landing on moon, because the kind of a reception that he got, including meeting Mother Teresa. Similarly, when you went to South Africa in 1992, you were given a roaring reception from Durban to the hotel. You were, I know, I had a photograph which we used in one of the exhibition, that you were traveling in an open car along with Ravi Shastri. So can you run through that those two beautiful series?
Yes, I think when South Africans came here, they were overwhelmed with the reception what they got in India, especially in Calcutta, right from the airport all the way to the ground and to the hotel. And in Calcutta, even today, maybe not that much, but during our playing days, I mean, you will always have at least 10,000 people outside the hotel. And that series was unbelievable. And the similar thing was reciprocated back when we went to South Africa. We landed in Johannesburg. There wasn't much in Johannesburg. Of course, we drew a lot of attention from every corner. But when we went to Durban, where 70% of them are Indians, and you should have seen that reception, that was like mind-boggling. Right from the airport in the open cars and the whole lineup, and the airport to the hotel was at least good 15 to 20 kilometers, and then you had people lined up on all the sides, welcoming us to South Africa. And I think we really felt like being in India. Durban is just like another India. So we were shocked to see that. We are pleasantly shocked to experience that kind of a reception. Those moments make it very memorable. Sometimes, while I was on the Jeep, on the open cars, I had to pinch myself to believe this is happening. And yeah, I think that also motivates you. This kind of reception, whatever that we have received, I think there is a payback through our performance. Those things have to kind of transform and motivate you more to do better for the country. So, where you draw inspiration is again important. From everything, anything, you can draw inspiration at times.
So again, I'll stay back to in South Africa. So you had a honor to meet the great Nelson Mandela. I've seen the photograph where you met Nelson Mandela. So your
that was unbelievable. I mean, the man which you have heard of, and his politeness, his softness in the way he speaks, and he stopped at every player, got our names, and he repeated those names, and then wishing us all the best. And then again, the same line which he said about, although I want you guys to do well, but I don't want you to win, because he wanted South Africa to win. So, it was a humor which he put it across. And, I got an opportunity to meet him twice. Again, in 1996, we got a chance to meet him. But I think 1992 was an absolute, I would say, I can never forget the South African series. And first of all, the impression of South Africa, what we had was completely different, because it was not open to the world, and we thought it was all about forests and such things. But the kind of development what South Africa had gone through was unbelievable. So it was a proper modern Western country, and the grounds with beautiful stadium. And I still believe Centurion Park, which is in Pretoria, is probably one of the best grounds that I have played in. And then again, you're looking at the Cape Town, and you're looking at Port Elizabeth, East London. I think South Africa is one of the beautiful countries that I have seen.
Sir, when we speak of Nelson Mandela, I think we are also in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We must remember Mahatma Gandhi ji as well. So you had an opportunity again, sir. The entire cricket team, when you went for the World Cup in 2003, all of you actually were asked to unveil that plaque of Mahatma Gandhi at the very station where he was thrown out. And that's where, from Mohandas, he became Mahatma Gandhi. Sir, your experience on that.
Correct. That was, we were all taken to the railway station somewhere near Durban. That was in Natal again. I think that was in Pietermaritzburg, if
Yes,
I can recall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pietermaritzburg. So there we had to unveil the flag, and that little ceremony again brought us, how, things change and how revolutions happen, and the momentum for the freedom of India in a way began there. Whatever our great Mahatma Gandhi ji went through during those days, I think that really helped us gain momentum back in India. I think he was more resolute when he came back to India to start this freedom movement even stronger. So, we were briefed about, how he stayed, the places where he lived in South Africa, all of it. So, I think we Indians have a massive respect for in South Africa. Something that we didn't expect when we went there. But I think, of course, Gandhi is probably the biggest man again, still in South Africa.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I'm handing it over back to you, Shakil.
Thank you, Shiprasad. I know it was a historic series, playing against the Springboks, I'm sure. Coming back to fast bowling and cricket, the MRF Foundation was founded in 1987. I think till then, and even during your early cricket playing days, there were no bowling coaches as such. So did that MRF Foundation really help initially Dennis Lilly, and now, of course, Glenn McGrath, as we have a good stock of bowlers now? Yeah, sorry.
We have, that was a one-stop place for fast bowlers. Fast bowling is very hard in India because, apart from Kapil Dev, we didn't have many heroes to look up to. Whereas batting, you have G.R. Vishwanath and Gavaskar and Mohinder Ramanand and all of them. Batting has been pretty easy. And of course, we had plenty of great spinners, to motivate the fast bowling. It was quite hard. And we had to really look up to Imran Khan and, of course, our own Kapil Dev to come with to first. And then we have to look up to Imran Khan, Dennis Lillies and Bob Willis and all these guys. We used to look up to them. But MRF was one place where it was like one stop for fast bowlers, where you had the kind of gym exercises that we need to do, because gym was not one of the in things those days. And if you go back to 1989-90, we had to really go in search of a gym in Mysore. it's not easy to find, but now we find them on every road. Then again, the kind of wickets, sometimes we never got wickets to bowl on turf wickets. So there were always 5 to 6 turf wickets ready. And then Dennis Lillee is a man of immense wealth in terms of the knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
Tremendously with him. We had a good interaction. He treated all of us really well. He was here to impart knowledge, and he made sure that he customized information to everyone in the way that person is able to understand him. I think he did a wonderful job. Sometimes, some of our fast bowlers who came for could not manage English that well, but he still tried to convince them as much as possible. I think Dennis' contribution to Indian fast bowling is unbelievable. Zahir Khan, myself, Venkatesh Prasad was a proper MRF student, and Ashish Nehra has had a stint in MRF. Even many people from South Africa used to come here. Ravindra Pushpaka was the Sri Lankan fast bowler. Dhaminda was a few good bowlers. Even James Anderson was here to train under Dennis Lillee. So a lot of people from all over the world. So it was just not for India. It was for anybody who could bowl fast, could come and gain knowledge here. So that was the attitude of MRF. I think Ravi Maman, who started this, was a wonderful idea, brilliant idea to get this one up and going. I think, again, they have made immense contribution, and they're still making that contribution to the Indian cricket.
Wow, that's great. Mentorship needs no language, needs no communication at all. Yeah.
You need a bouncing board. Whenever I did bowl, a good call to Dennis Lillee and have a chat with him for 15-20 minutes, I think he would put me back on track. It is the confidence that he gives you. And it is what he has gone through. And he used to put those in simple words and make us understand that we are all humans, and we all can afford to have some lean patches every now and then. Sometimes I think it is arrogant to think that we will never hit a lean patch.
Wow.
I think we all have lows in life. I think we need to accept it, and we have to be patiently be there till we get out of it. I think the colonel who spoke the other time, I think it's exactly what he meant. I think we all go through that stage in life, and I think everybody has highs and lows in life. That's very important to understand.
Some great, mentorship lessons for all of us. Dennis the Menace is one of my favorite, fast bowlers. All his aggression. Did he impart that aggression to you guys as well? I mean, he was a real competitor. I mean,
he's an absolute competitor, and he used to hate batsmen, and he always used to tell us that you've got to hate batsmen. I mean, in a nice way. When you're on the field, I think you've got to be mean to them. I mean, don't show any mercy. If he's weak on the short pitch ball, then use the short pitch ball to dismiss him. So we should not be in a position where, all right, I don't want to hit him on his head, or I don't want to injure. But I think that's part of the arsenal of a bowler. So use it when it is necessary. So that is aggression.
That's great.
It's not about spewing through some bad words or disturbing the
sledging.
Sledging is not the best way, but I think aggression is using the ball gently, intimidatingly, to get your purpose.
Yeah, and you use that aggression very, very well in your bowling. After you,
people always have a complaint on me that I was not aggressive enough.
Including your good friend Venkatesh Prasad.
Oh, he was aggressive. I think he was very expressive as well. He used to have few words as well, and I have said him on occasions where he went out of control. I had to bring him back and then say sorry to a couple of batsmen for what he said.
Okay.
So he was a very lively person on the field.
Yeah. You mentored a lot of fast bowlers Zahir. We had Ajeet Agarkar, Nehras, Irfan Pathan, RP Singh. The cupboard was never bare when you started bowling fast. And how was it? To really mentor these young fast bowlers. And how was the experience? For you as the spearhead. Earlier it was only Kapil Dev, and we had military medium at best.
What I believe is that fast bowling is all about conservation of energy. I think if you're fresh and if you're good, and if you come in spells of 6 overs in a test match, I'm speaking purely from the test match point of view, then you are more effective. Your thinking is better. and then you don't want to survive there as a bowler. You want to be a strike bowler, you want to get wickets. For that, you need 3 good fast bowlers at least. And for you to have 3 good fast bowlers, then you need to have at least 6 good fast bowlers ready to play for the country. Now, that is not competition for any one of us. I think if you have good 6 fast bowlers in the running to take those 3 places, I think the game will get better, and I think India will be safer or probably stronger with the fast bowlers. The moment, the thought process of if somebody is good and he is going to replace me, that's a very negative mindset. I think you should have somebody who is better. Say, for example, 3 fast bowlers are operating. If the second person gets a wicket, which means he has made it easy to run into the 3rd wicket or to the 4th wicket. That's the mindset what we need. So somebody else taking wicket is always making easy for the other bowlers in the side to get, a few more wickets. So, this is again, the thought process which we need to build in the minds of the kids. That, it is just not about you or yourself or your performance or your wickets. It is about how you work as a team. I think this is where I think the teamwork, the team ethics, the feeling for the other players to do well, I think such things play a huge role. And I think you see a lot of success when you start thinking in those lines.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, team is together, everyone achieves more. That is the acronym for team. And you hit the nail on the head, sir. You played for 12 long years. I mean, and you are the highest wicket takers in ODI for a fast bowler still. Any memorable matches you were part of other than the Kotla, of course, where your good friend Anil?
I always say that beating Pakistan in all the 4 World Cups will always be very special for me. You know how it is when you play against Pakistan. It is so much excitement. There is everybody wants to win. I mean, every Indian wants us to win, and the expectations are huge on all of us.
No, it is bandobast across India.
96.
It is bandobast across India.
Exactly, I understand. And during the Kargil in 2000, when we went to see the our soldiers in the hospitals and these places, I mean, they were talking so highly about the actions and the reactions of India winning or losing the match at the borders. So, which was very interesting. That was nice. But again, we beating Pakistan in all the 4 World Cups that I figured probably will always be a special moment for me.
Oh, thank you very much. And the Feroz Shah Kotla famous match, which Prakash Saigavi also mentioned, and Sadgopan, any thoughts on that? What went through your mind?
When somebody is about to make a huge, when he's about to embarking to make a huge achievement, I mean, that is, you need to be part of such feats in life. I mean, not many people and not many, I mean, it has only happened once, and this is probably the second time it was about to happen. And the best way to be part of such events is by not taking wickets. If you take wickets, then you're going to spoil that feat. So I think it happened to one of the best men, that is Anil Kumble, a good friend of mine. And I think anybody in my place would have done the same. And that ball was skied. Waqar Younis wanted to get out. He didn't want to give the wicket to Anil. So he wanted to just get out, and he was playing some reckless shot. And that one was, I was trying to bowl as far away as possible from the batsman, but he still middled it. And then took the top, he didn't middle it. He took the top edge and then went to Sadgopan Ramesh. So it was his natural reaction to go to the catch. And knowing that the way Anil was bowling, he would finish the match within no time. So that was probably one of those cries to saying, no, don't take the catch, which was, just to tell him to stay away from the catch and, wait for Anil to get the other wicket from the other end.
Wow, thank you.
One of the wonderful, I would say, apart from these 4 matches beating Pakistan in the World Cup, Anil's 10-wicket haul, and then winning a few tournaments here and there. I think when we win a tournament, when we win every match, a lot of good things happen. I think we forgive people. We kind of, the differences are all dissolved between people. I think winning brings tremendous positive energy between people. So every winning, there is something that good things happen. At the same time, when we lose, I think that's the introspection that we do on ourselves quite a bit as to where I could have contributed even more. I think the focus is on your performance when you lose, but the focus is on the entire team when we win. So these are some of the lessons that we learned during our playing days.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, and trust the Pakistanis to try and spoil the party always. Waqar, yeah. Yeah, you had a very strong rotatory cuff injury in the early part of your career-threatening injury of sorts. But luckily, you came out of it and you came back a stronger bowler. In fact, you did completed your graduation always. Who are the people around you who stood by you, who saw you through these difficult patches, and what lessons, if any, to our youngsters?
This is probably the question where I want the youngsters to probably listen to this carefully. I think we need to have mentors. We need to have good people guiding us. We might be good in one or two walks of life, but I think, overall, we need to look up to some seniors in life whom we trust in. We got to find them. And if you have the right attitude, you will find them as well. It is not about, walking up to some random people for advice. I think you will have some relationship with that person, and it could be from any walk of life. I mean, some of my great cricketing advisors came from my club secretary, Mr. Subramaniam, who has played decent level of cricket. He has not played at the international level, but he ran the club for us. But he was one man who was to bring that balance in many of us, and especially me. I think some of the big decisions in cricket, whenever I want to take, I think I used to speak to him. I think we should never underestimate the position that we are in has no consequence to the others who are probably in a much better place, not necessarily in terms of being famous or popularity or whatever it is, but the knowledge what they possess is something which is always hidden. So we got to go ask them, and we need to bark at the right tree to get the right knowledge. I always used to look up to such people around, go up to them, and then probably seek advice. And I think for that, we first of all need to show that attitude that we are ready to listen to people. So I think it is, if you go with an honest and an open heart to seek the right advice, you will meet the right people for sure. And I think I have experienced it myself. There are a lot of people. One is Dennis Lilly. I mean, he comes from Australia. It really doesn't matter. I used to talk to him quite a lot about my bowling and my career and all of it. My club secretary was another person, and then a lot of good friends of mine of my same age. I think they were again guiding me in one way or the other, not necessarily directly, but I could gather what they were trying to say in terms of my own performance, whether I'm good, whether I'm going down, what should be done, and even Anil, Rahul, Venki, your peers. I think their feedback is also very important. When they say that, look, you need to step up, you're going down a bit. I think those advices come from the heart, and you need to accept it. I think what I tell the youngsters here who are watching is that when you are given a feedback about who you are and what you are and where you need to improve upon, I think that's more of a boon than being criticized. Don't see that as criticism at all. I think every criticism or every feedback that you get as an advice might not be very pleasant to hear, but that's exactly what you want to hear. And that is the tonic for your growth.
Wow. Listening and learning. Perfect lessons. Listening and learning. That's perfect lessons. Thank you very much. Was mentioned, even after retirement, you contested elections, KSCA, and with your good friend Anil Kumble, and went into cricket administration. You did a dabble in commentating for some time. But then, of course, now you are a match referee of great repute. I mean, how did a match referee, come into your career? I mean, and you are one of the most astute match referees that cricket is seeing. Very calm, very mature, nothing over the top. How did that come about?
Well, I mean, I used to be part of the bowling review group. I mean, people who, I mean, anybody who had a dodgy action, and that came for review. We used to sit and decide, myself and 3-4 other guys from ICC. So from then on, I think Mr. Sunil Gavaskar and also Mr. Dalmia proposed my name to the ICC. So we had 2 rounds of interview, and then they had seen me functioning for the bowling review group, and then they picked me for the job. I was not too sure about this job to start with. I thought, let me just dabble with this for the next 2 years and see where I stand and probably change it. But slowly I started liking this profession. It's of immense responsibility. You will never, if you don't hear our names, which means the game has gone smoothly and we have done a good job.
Absolutely.
If you hear the newspaper, which means that there is something wrong in the match, and maybe we have left few pages unturned or whatever. That's where we stand. So basically, our name should not be there anywhere. I think that's probably the best way to function, or that's what the performance demands from us.
Oh, that is brilliant. You have some real great guys. Mike Proctor is one, I remember. He's one of the match referees.
Clive Lloyd was.
Clive Lloyd as well.
Alan Hurst from Australia was another match referee, a good fast bowler.
Yeah, thank you so much. Speaking of bowling, and we've seen munkading, that's a term used for the running out a batsman. We've had some real, incidents. Courtney Walsh, even our great Kapil Dev himself, letting batsmen, reminding them. Now munkading has, taken up a lot of discussion. Ravichandra Ashwin, our own Ashwin, is very against it. He says it's perfectly legitimate for bowlers to munkad people out. What are your thoughts, especially in light of...
The competition is so much now that, a game is lost or won by a few centimeters. It could be the run out, or it could be that's where it is. So giving that advantage might not be the best when the competition is very high. So it is the responsibility of the batsman to stay inside the crease. And I think now, earlier we used to ask the captain to see if munkading is done, to say whether you want to give the batsman an opportunity. But now even that has been taken away. So I think that's the right way to play. I think, we call it a gentleman's game, but yes, it has to be played in a gentleman's game by following the rules and regulations of the game to the T. So therefore, I think munkading has become a normal dismissal now. So you don't have to invoke the spirit of the game anymore by the captain. So if somebody is out of the crease early, he's out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Shiv Prasad, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shakil. Srinathji, you brought out a beautiful concept. Most of the Sainik school boys come from a very humble background. You said, even the general also told that, and you also emphatically mentioned that you passed through lean patches. But unfortunately, in the Indian system, our culture is such that we only celebrate the success, and hardly people speak about failures. But I remember one case of yours, where you took 13 wickets. It's a massive achievement, but then you ended up on the losing side. Now, this is a part of the Indian team passing through this period. So again, another lesson which you would like to give, sir, that you will be passing through such period where you fail.
Yeah, I think passing through lean patches is a must. I think one must go through those patches. I think hardship makes you learn a lot. I think, that's the time where people should not drift into depression or feel so low about their own confidence. I think, I would request, all the teachers, the coaches in the cricket, people who are in a place where they can deliver knowledge to the kids. I think they should prepare people to go through rejections in life. They should prepare kids to go through, the real low state where, they lose wickets, or they don't score runs, or they're on the losing side. So that is important. I think, world is for everyone. It is just not for us alone. I think everybody, if you don't get wicket, which means somebody else has taken wickets. So it's an opportunity for all. So, this is a strong message that should go to everyone, that, we will all have these stages of life, and we need to be prepared for that. And I think what goes through our mind, and the kind of people we meet, and the kind of advice we get when we are low is the true advice. I think that's what we need to look up to. So therefore, I ask all the kids that, failing in exams is not the end of the world. I mean, it's only seeking you to prepare better for the next one. Just like what the Colonel said, they are, a few minutes back. So I think giving it up is failure. I think making attempts to get better is the way forward.
So I think you've been a ardent fan of technology. Maybe your friend rubbed it onto him, your Mohandas, for example. You've advocated use of technology in the game of cricket. You somehow managed to convince the BCCI to adopt technology. And now, of course, what we see in the TV is an example, classic example of that. Now that we are passing through what is called as a Industrial Revolution 4, IR 4.0, now you have things like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, Internet of Things. Do you foresee that these things, machine learning, for example, coming into the play as a technology in cricket, sir?
I think machine learning, beyond a point, what exactly, how are we using technology? We are using technology to make sure that we get the information in a pattern that we want, so that from that pattern we learn a lot. That's exactly how we use technology. How quickly we can get the images or the footages, what we want, and what particular information that we want. We can get those clippings. That's quick access to what you want. Technology enables us to get that. Machine learning and stuff, I think that is still little far away. I don't think it has still gotten into the technology, or probably in the space where we need it. At the moment, I think the computers are strong enough to give what we want. Maybe in the near future, artificial intelligence, machine learning, it will probably try to, the human interference will be far lesser. Every ball, the way the ball has behaved, whatever it is, the machine will be able to understand, and then probably make it easy for you to give a better information. So it is, again, what kind of information we seek is more important. If we don't understand that concept of seeking what we want, then I think using technology will be of no use. So I think we should not really make a big issue about technology. Technology is a tool for you to have access to what you want and what you want to learn from the picture. Otherwise, technology will not teach you what to do. I think it will give you a lot of options. That options is, we need to judiciously try to manage those options. So that's where we are at this point.
Absolutely right, sir. I mean, you said that right now computers are adequate enough. I'm reminded of one game, so where the South Africans had entered the semi-finals. I wish they had won, but they had 22 runs to score in 13 balls, and then some rain formula came into the picture. Yeah, the Duckworth-Lewis came into the picture, and then in one ball they had to score 22 runs. So I think there must be some limit to use of technology, sir. What do you feel, sir?
No, that is different. I think Duckworth-Lewis is a system where it believes in the resources that you have. I think it says that if you lose the first two batsmen, which means that you have lost more percentage of your resources. If you lose 5 wickets, but it doesn't take, if you reverse the batting order, maybe the Duckworth-Lewis will not be able to understand it. But anyway, I think that's a universal tool that has been used. There is some kind of consistency that has been brought by using it everywhere. So we know what Duckworth-Lewis can break the numbers into. So we have to also, in a strategy part of it, we need to include Duckworth-Lewis when you see rain coming.
Sir, actually, we had many more questions, but then I know for sure that there are people who are waiting in the chat rooms where they're asking, including some of the principals of different Sainik school. I will end up with one small question. So you're so humble that I'm reminded about one incident. Post your retirement it was, and it's a anecdotal information. I think you lost your car papers, and like a due diligence, you went to the police station to make a complaint that you lost your car papers to make so that you have an FIR. But the police gentleman, perhaps he did not recognize you in that old style that we remember of the police. Perhaps he tried to, he did not register, and then if he tried to misbehave, he walked away. But then the senior police got to know about this. SP called him up. He wanted to actually suspend him. The moment you got to know this, he called them up to ensure that he's not suspended. How is it that, so humble, so simple, People show that people actually show that in Delhi, everybody would like to show that I'm so and so.
I think irrespective of what we play, what we do, if you're recognized in the society, that doesn't mean that you can just walk away without following the laws. I think what the gentleman asked me as the head of the station was true. He said we need an affidavit along with that. So all right, I said I'll get that. So in the meantime, I think a few things happened which shouldn't have happened, and I think that man behaved as he's expected to behave. So there was nothing wrong with that man at all. But I think few turns took which shouldn't have taken. Then finally everything ended up well. There was no issues after that. But I think the media also created a bit of a mischief there to blow a few things out of proportion, and that's exactly what happened. I think that man shouldn't have gone through what he went through. It was unnecessary. I think I was used as a pawn for all these things anyway. That's over now.
So, you talked about the competitive spirit of playing against the Pakistanis. Of course, winning all the 4 World Cups. Strangely and pleasantly, the two teams, both India and Pakistan, have come together to host the 1987 World Cup. In fact, there have been a lot of confidence building measures that happens in track 2, track 3 diplomacy. And, the presidents of, whether it is Ziaul Haq, he has come to see the matches. Mia Nawaz Sharif has come here. So, were you a part of any of these confidence building measures behind the scene?
No,
or any cricket players for that?
No, we don't get to that part at all. I think the board decides what we need to play, and we go end up in that place and start playing. We don't have a role to play in that decision making.
But cricket does bring these two people together at times, and
not at our level. Not at our level. We have been told to go and play, and we just go and play. So we don't get involved in the diplomacy part of it.
Okay. From my side, one last question, sir. I'm reminded of a very, some kind of, it seems you were out of mood when you were playing in Cuttack, and Srinath wanted to bring you back to the good mood. You are 6 feet 3 inches, and he's just about 5 feet 4 inches or 5 inches like me. So what he did is he asked Hemant Badani to exchange your trouser with his trouser, thinking that the moment you see that wear a short trouser, you'll become your mood will become okay. See, you are that quintessential Srinath. You did not notice, and you walked onto this the pitch to play. Can you explain that, sir?
He was trying to. Sachin can probably, when he's in his mood and when he wants to make pranks, he takes that route. Sometimes we have good times in the dressing room, and the one thing that even now I cherish is the good relationship with all the players that I have played. I think that is important for all of us here. That in the profession that we are in. Things won't be the same every time. There will be emotionally high situations, emotionally low situations, all of it. But by the end of the day, I think we should still have a good relationship with people. So when you quit that place and move away, are you still in a position to talk to people? Are you still in a position to, somebody you call will pick up your phone call? I think that establishes how well you have played this game, and, how well you have established, how well you have valued people as humans. So I think that is very important for all of us. It is just not about, absolute professionalism where you just play the game and come back. But I think at all levels, we need to connect. And most important, at a human level, you should be able to connect to people in the workspace that we work in.
Shakil, I think there are a lot of other questions. I think we should stop. And maybe one question from you, or maybe 1 or 2 rapid questions.
Okay, thanks so much. You've after being an ICC match referee, you're now on to entrepreneurship also. Ajeet's the students of Sainik School Bijapur, ex-students and the present students, a lot of them are into entrepreneurships. So, what is your advice to them, or any thoughts, any messages for these young boys?
A lot of them become engineers. A lot of them become entrepreneurs. Many of them prefer management, whatever it is. I think what we need to understand is that we need to look for the problems what the people face in life, the society face in general, and then work back with a solution. Now that is more important than the skills what we have, and then we start searching what to do through the skills what we have alone. That might not be the best thing to see the world. I think you need to look into the problems what the world has, how to better the lives of the people. I think that's where largely where most of the businesses are. I mean, you're bettering people's life. So from there, if you're able to contribute back to see whether your skills fit in and where you, so I feel that, like, for example, in terms of cricket, I mean, I finished my engineering and I don't think I have great skills in engineering, but I understood the problem, what we were facing. And then I realized that I think engineering is the solution for this, where we can bring in technology. So we were struggling with trying to get the quick access of the videos and the clippings and all of it to understand how we bowl and how we bat. So then we realized technology is the one which is going to provide solution for us. These kind of thinking helps. So if there is a problem that we need to solve, and then what technology is good. And therefore, we need to go for that particular technology to solve the problem. Just because we have a skill, that skill should not necessarily be accepted by everyone. So we need to, first of all, find a solution. I mean, find an issue or a problem, or where we can do things which is much better, or probably the work could be done better, and then align our skills to that. That's probably the best way to look into our lives. I think most of us will probably be in a stage, and we need to do some introspection to see whether our skill sets are contextual, and is it acceptable by where we want to be. So that's where I believe we need to be doing a lot of introspection to see where our skills fit in.
Thank you so much. We've had two short questions from cadets from the Sainik School, Nagrota. Cadet Vishav Khajuria wants to know, you were one of the great fast bowlers. Who was your role model other than Dennis Lilly, of course, and you mentioned Imran and the Kapil Dev as well?
I think, my club, role models are there everywhere. Not necessarily it has to be somebody, who has achieved a lot, or, in terms of name and fame. But I think for me, the biggest role model was some of the players who played for my own club. I mean, I used to look up to them. I think your own seniors at college, in your school, I think they are the real role models, and there is plenty to learn from them. Of course, it is easy to idolize the Kapil Devs and Imran Khans and Dennis Lillys and all of it. But I think within your own workspace, I mean, there will be somebody who is better than you. The beauty of life is that there is always somebody who is better than you, and there is always somebody who is not as good as you. So we are always in that position. So, it is always good to help somebody who is not as good as you. At the same time, seek how you can better yourself with somebody who is better than you.
Wow, fascinating insight. One more from Cadet Shagun Rakwal, Sainik School, Nagrota. He asks, who gave you this nickname, Mysore Express?
I think it was one of those newspaper guys who started writing as Mysore Express. I think you come from Mysore, so something needs to be associated. I think you have enough trains called Mysore Express in Mysore. So therefore, they just coined a name called Mysore Express.
So one question I have to take from, because this is from the principal of Nagrota School, it's a Sainik School in J&K. What, in your opinion, are some of the most essential qualities to excel in any sport? Also, what would he say? What would you say to trainers at Sainik School who are mentors and often coaches to the cadet?
I think from the cadet's point of view, I think to be extremely honest about your own talent is very important. When you want to add talent, first of all, you should put your hand on your chest and say, I don't have this talent, I need to add this talent. If you're able to say this in front of everyone, in the midst of everyone, to say that I want to learn, I want to, learn this skill, and which I don't know, is probably most important thing. Where we fail is that when we don't have the talent, but we still profess to say that I do have the talent, that is wrong. I think we need to be very honest here in sport to say that this is the talent that I have, and this is the talent I don't have. How do I add skill to the existing talent? Now, if you're honest, I think the best advice will come to you.
Thank you, sir. It's been so, yes, sir.
Talent, yes.
It's been so fascinating. We can go on and on, but we have to end here because we have a couple of other senior, very, very senior officers to actually, and then there are questions as well. I hand it over back to Vinay. So, Vinay?
Thanks, Dr. Shivaprasad. Thanks to Colonel Shakil. It was amazing. My goodness. It was absolutely terrific, And the way, Srinath sir, the way you presented every reply to those complex questions, I would put it as, because in the most simplistic way, so that every young student who is watching from nook and corner of this country was able to understand. So thanks to your simplicity, sir. But yeah, I also have two questions which have come on YouTube, right? So very simple question. What was your reaction when you first heard? I know it's really funny. What was your reaction when you first heard the concept of that cred ad about OG? Because we never saw you in that avatar. So what is your thought on that?
I was really surprised because on the eve of the ad was about to be done, they told me that this is exactly what you're doing. And I said, look, that's not me. That's not me who is going to dance in front of people. I have never done this before. He said, that's exactly what we want. What you are not is what we want on the ad. So that was the theme of the ad. Funny, and it was not, I was very uncomfortable doing it, but they just gave me enough confidence to go and, do a bit of, shake your body and then come back. So I think I went with the philosophy of what the ad was resting on. So therefore I did this ad. I don't think I will be able to do that kind of ads again and again. Not that I get many offers, but yeah, I think we enjoyed that ad, that overall concept. Yes. We brought some during the peak COVID times and they said, what the hell is this guy? Are these guys doing here? So anyway, it was fun.
Absolutely, sir. Watching you, even Rahul Dravid shouting in Indiranagar.
They again wanted to portray what Rahul Dravid was not on the ad.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. And last question, and I can personally relate with this because my dad at the age of 66, he completed his post-graduation. So there's one interesting question which has come here from our own senior Ajeet Prakash Saigavi. Do you still pursue your MBA dream of Stanford?
I tried actually. Post 2003, I went to Stanford to see if I can do a degree, but then I met a couple of lecturers there, a couple of professors there, and they guided me. And then they made me realize that, the position which I am in India, I think is far better, because otherwise it has to be a different start altogether from the scratch, which was not necessary. I think it was a good advice from them. Sometimes, you feel that you have missed out on education and you still want to add on something and you want to get that degree from the best one. But I have the KC administrative degree. That's probably the biggest of all the degrees that I have got.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. It was pleasure hosting you. And trust me, one of the finest emceeing I've been able to do was with Javagal Srinath Bowling and Beyond. But before we end this session, let's hear it from our senior Ajeets who have been observing and who have been mentoring us to organize this beautiful AKF events. Firstly, I would like to invite the mentor of AAA and AKF, Ajeet Knowledge Forum, Dr. Ashok Dalwai, with live from New Delhi. 348 Oyster House, 1975 pass out. Sir, before I invite him, let me little bit clarify to Javagal Srinath sir that why are we using this roll number house batch? Sir, the way you said degree was a stamp, trust me, for us, it's a badge of honor, the roll numbers. That is why we keep repeating this badge of honors, right? Let's invite Dr. Ashok Dalwai, sir, 348 Oyster House, 1975 pass out. He's a retired IAS officer of the Odisha cadre, played a major role in shaping the Aadhaar project as a deputy director and CEO of the National Rainfed Area Authority. Right now, the chairman of the Committee of Doubling Farmers' Income, Government of India. Sir, over to you, Ashok Dalwai, sir. Stage is all yours.
Thank you, Vinay, very much. Good evening, all friends. Good morning to those across the Atlantic. Srinath, I do not know how to really thank you. I think you have been a great choice. Over the last year, we have been having the best of minds from a cross-section of domains: science, technology, films, entrepreneurs, and now we have had sports. Listening to you, it was mind-boggling. Not to appease you, but these are honest feelings that come forth from my heart. To make an intellectual observation of you from what you have delivered to us today, I would like to describe you as a humble, honest, socially aware, and intelligent human being. And this makes you a complete person, a complete personality. And when we add your reputation as an icon, as a legend, then you become a right person worthy of emulation by everyone else, particularly the youth and the children who are listening to you in large number. Why do I say this? The first advice that you gave to all youngsters in particular is never stop learning. And that way beyond your studying age, you went to Stanford seeking an admission, goes to show that you meant what you are saying. Never stop learning. Listening to your personal feelings as they evolved forth from the land of Maritzburg, where Mahatma Gandhi became a reality, the future of Mahatma became a reality, or your own interface with another Mahatma, Nelson Mandela. They just go to show that how keen you are in observing and absorbing. These are extremely good traits for anyone who wants to make a mark. I think something that everyone who listened to you today is going to carry forth and remember for his and her life is the statement that you made about self is not important. Selfishness is not necessary. Put the country beyond yourself. And you say that we should always look for 6 good players so that at least 3 good players are available at any point of time for the country. What you are saying is that you as an individual does not matter. I really wonder how many of us bear this in mind in our respective professions. Today, when we celebrate our 75th year of independence, we're just getting ready for this tomorrow. The message that you have communicated to us is worth a gold in standard. This is something that the people of this country have to remember. This is something that India will benefit from, this particular statement, because it is pregnant with a positive message for evolving our country as the Vishwa Guru, which our Honorable Prime Minister is keen on. And there are many other advices that you have given us. You did not call them as advice, but these are what I call them as advice. And I'm picking them up to re-emphasize, reiterate for the good of our youngsters in particular. The good message that you gave to most of us, which we don't know in life or we don't believe in, is that a criticism is not a bitter medicine. A criticism, a good feedback, however bitter it is truly a nutrition for self-growth. My God, what a great statement. A bitter medicine given as a feedback is truly a nutrition for self-improvement. A great statement. Even great management gurus will not be able to tell this. And then you buttress this by saying world is for everyone, not just for you. My God, it's fantastic. Man is a social animal. We have to live as a community, irrespective of our caste, religion, nation, language, and race. This is what Mother Earth wants today. And you cap this all by saying that value human being as a human being. I guess today, the world that is suffering from anomie, sometimes parochialism in the name of nation, requires this particular message. We are really lucky to have had you. You are a sportsman, but we also know you as an intellect. But generally, the society believes that sports and intelligence do not go together. But here you are, a blend of both. And that, I'm sure, the answers prove beyond doubt. This optimality of blend of heart and mind and intellect combined with that. We must really thank you for this positive, meaningful, and appropriate message as you have given us. We wouldn't have had a better person than you speak to us on the eve of our independence. And taking this opportunity, I would like to share with all our friends, particularly from our alma mater, the Science School, Bijapur, who all are committed to building a great institution called Ajeet Alumni Forum. We are committed to not just the Ajeets, but we are committed to our school, the alma mater, and more importantly, to the society. So as we celebrate the 75th year of independence, we need to remember our great leaders as also the common people of this country who fought against the mighty colonial power called Britain. We must remember certain historical milestones, how step by step our great leaders over the 200 years of freedom struggle built a new nation, a nation in the true sense. Despite being divided by so many diversities, so many denominations, were all brought together. And we certainly remember the final assault that came from the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, beginning 1918. And then I would like to reiterate that even he, despite, as you, Srinath, said, that he had been seasoned in South Africa to fight for justice, did not plunge into freedom struggle as soon as he came back to India. He took lessons from his guru, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. There's another lesson for all of us, that however great we think of ourselves, we must believe in our guru. Mahatma Gandhi believed in Gopal Krishna Gokhale. And Gokhale told him, Gandhi, first go and see India before you want to do something. And that's how his journey by train, by 3rd Division train, began across the length and breadth of this country. That's where he saw a poor person in rags, a poor woman in rags, in Odisha in particular, and decided that I'm going to give up my clothes. And that's how he just came into one langoti to identify himself with a common person. And then we know how step by step the leaders took our country towards total freedom. First, simply a non-cooperation, and then the civil disobedience. And then, of course, saying that now you quit India. So there are many lessons that we must remember as we celebrate the 75th year of independence, that how an organization is built, how a mass movement is built, how we instill confidence in a castrated society to fight for our freedom. And today, as we hold our Tiranga loftily in our hands at the behest of our Honorable Prime Minister, what we need to do is to commit ourselves to building a new India further. And at this juncture, we have had words of wisdom from a young person called Srinath Javagal. Normally, wisdom is associated with old people, but here a youngster who is celebrating the 53rd birthday has given us words of wisdom. And we keep all this in our mind, keep them in our heart. And we, from the Ajeet Alumni Association, commit ourselves to building our own society. And we also take this opportunity of thanking various other science schools that have come from Kashmir to Kerala, the many other schools and colleges who have come from Maharashtra and Karnataka. So we, all of us, irrespective of which school we belong to India. So let's all join our hands to say Jai Hind to our country and to tell Mother India that we are here for your in service of you, and that future that is 21st century, belongs to India, to Mother India, or Vishwa Guru, that our Honorable Prime Minister calls it as. So thank you very much. I would like to thank one of you, and particularly our guest. Now, Srinath, you become a family member. We shall be informing you every time we meet what we are going to do, and our association will be with you. I would also like to thank our young Ajeet General Ullas Talur, who unfortunately could not be here and therefore has shared his speech. And we were equally inspired by our own Ajeet. So thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for words of wisdom. So beautifully you summarized the lessons which we all learned from Javagal Srinath, sir. Before we close, we have the presidential remarks of AAA, Shri Gopal Hosur, sir, 177 Vijayanagar House, 1971 pass out. The senior most Ajeet we have right now, retired IPS officer, and has a unique distinction of being the most decorated IPS officer in Karnataka cadre. As we all know, sir's pivotal role in capturing the dreaded smuggler. We all know, and who is that? The Veerappan. Sir played a vital role and is a Presidential Medal of Honor. He bagged it. Sir, stage is all yours.
Thank you, Vinay. Vinay Patil.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Loud and clear. Thank you. Our dear chief guest, Srinath Javagal. You look like the boy next door. Tall, lanky, robust. But a next door boy who has risen to dizzying heights of stardom. Somebody who is considered as an intellectual cricketer. And you have enthralled us through an extremely captivating discussion that you have had with our anchors. I must on this occasion thank your friend Vasant Bharadwaj. I hope you remember. He was one of the greatest table tennis players of India who represented India abroad. A very dear friend of mine. A couple of days back, when Ashok Dalwai said we need to get a good speaker, we are searching for some good name, and we wanted a sportsman to come on our show. So far, we have had scientists, intellectuals, entrepreneurs, and so on. People from the films like Sham Bengal and so. So Vasant suggested the best person that you can get in sports today is Mr. Javagal Srinath. Of course, Javagal may remember my face. I have interacted with him on a couple of occasions. But then, when we contacted him, he readily agreed, and I put it across to Dr. Ashok Dalwai, the mentor, the founder of the AKF, and a force behind the AAA. He readily agreed and put a wonderful team behind him to take this journey forward. So before I begin to speak about Srinath, let me speak a bit about the AKF. AKF has been an extraordinary signature event of the Ajeet Alumni Association, of which I am incidentally the president. And Srinath himself has acknowledged the due diligence done by the AKF while hosting this program. So I must compliment Dr. Ashok Dalwai, Sudarshan Satija, Vinay Patil, a new find of the AKF, a brilliant guy who can conduct the program so well. Sanjeev Sindhikar, Prakash Saigaivi, and my friend Dr. Shiv Prasad Kenneth, Colonel Shakil Gundgi, and the backroom boys of Umesh Sajnar and his team, and also Ranga Jagannath, who is probably going to give the vote of thanks. So I must compliment the AKF for this wonderful program that you have given to the Ajeet Alumni Association, Ajeet families, and all those who are on this program in India and abroad. A great thank you to you. But Javagal to me is somebody, is typically like when we started the program, when a match starts, the first fast bowler begins his run up to bowl the ball. The whole crowd waits in an anticipated, breathtaking moment as to how he's going to bowl it. And there is a huge amount of roar that comes across when he delivers the ball and the wicket is knocked. I think, Mr. Srinath, your talk was truly that today. An intellectual cricketer of par excellence. And I think we are extremely happy to have seen you speak, deliver your thought, not just cricket, not just bowling, but far beyond all that. I think the younger generation, or even people like me, I'm 16 years older to you now, you're 53, I'm 69, but there is so much of lessons that we have learned in the discussion with you. To be very frank with the audience here, I'm not new to Karnataka cricket. 1967 was the time when the first Ranji team of Karnataka came to play in Bijapur. Subramaniam, whose name Javagal mentioned, Srinath mentioned, he was the captain of the team. Vishi, Brijesh, Prasanna, Chandrasekhar, they were all there in Bijapur. And as a school, we were taken to watch that match in, I think, PDJ High School grounds. That was the time we used to look up to these stalwarts of the game with admiration. And thereafterwards, we too played cricket in school. I think Srinath may remember one Mr. Gopal Pai. He used to be the cricket coach of the Sainik school. He would come and camp there for a month and train us all into cricket. And many of the boys who got trained from him, when they joined the NDA, especially Harsha Gaonkar, I must mention, he became the National Defense Academy's cricketing glue. And thereafterwards, he also played for the Air Force. I believe I was with Harsha Gaonkar the other day, and he was mentioning to me that services has produced some of the best cricketers in India in the past. Now, it may not be the situation, but some of the best cricketers were produced by the services. So I have known all good cricketers of Karnataka being from 1975. I still remember, I bought a ticket of ₹2 when I was a junior engineer in telephones under training in Ruptunga Road. I went to see my first match in the cricket stadium by paying ₹2 as the gate fee. We sat in the stands. It was Dilip Venksankar versus the combined universities team versus Sri Lanka. We're so enamored of the whole ambience and the kind of atmosphere that prevailed there. Some of it got us glued to cricket, and today cricket is, I think, it flows in India's blood. It is a creed, and cricket is probably one of the greatest games that India has excelled in. Prasanna, Chandrasekhar, Vishwanath, who recently brought out that great book, Rest Assured, Brijesh, Kirmani, Sudhakar Rao, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Venkatesh Prasad, about whom you mentioned, Avinash Sadanand, Roger, Sunil Joshi, Raghuram Bhatt have been some of the greatest friends that I have been associated with cricket, because from 1999 till the day I retired, I carried out the most of the security arrangements at the Karnataka State Cricket Association. In fact, I still know a time when Cricket Association was going through an internal turmoil of two groups trying to capture power. And it was on that occasion that Anil met me, and even the other side also were my good friends. So we used to discuss at length on administration of the Karnataka State Cricket Association. And your team won that election and you administered. So I think for all these viewers here, I must mention certain traits of Javagal Srinath which have not been brought out in this discussion so far. And I spoke to a lot of his good friends. yesterday and day before to understand, though I know him. I think Srinath, you must be knowing Jitendra Nath, a police officer who was my inspector and a great friend of yours. He's as tall and as lanky and as well built as you are. He described you as the greatest human being cricketer that he has come across. You and Venkatesh Prasad are two people whom he identified among the galaxy of people, of cricketers, that whom he has been very, very closely associated with. I spoke to a couple of people like the anchors rightly mentioned, bringing in technology into cricket. I would like to quote a small episode that which has been mentioned, but I will dilate it on it a little more. When Srinath had his shoulder injury, he went to South Africa for his surgery. Am I right, Srinath? You went to Srinath. So you had to be laid off for an year. He did not rest. He, in fact, began to study technology. Though he is an engineer, he thought that analytics, computer analytics or technology analytics should be brought into cricket. And it is to his great credit that if at all today a huge amount of computer technology analytics is being used in cricket, it is probably the huge contribution from you. I'll also like to quote a small episode which came to my notice. He went to Ram Dorai. I think Ram Dorai was with TCS.
He was the CEO of TCS, sir.
Yeah, TCS. I still recollect that Srinath is a person who wants to learn continuously. He went to Ram Dorai and sat with him and made him a small presentation. And Ram Dorai, listening to Srinath's presentation, he said, Mr. Srinath, do you have some more time? And Srinath was willing and he gave time, and Ram Dorai got in all his executives into that room and made Srinath to give the presentation again. And in fact, that is the beginning of the BPO system that we have, business process outsourcing. Am I right, Srinath? Are these facts? Yeah. So these are some of the things. But as a human being, he's a cricketer who has reached dizzying heights, one of the best match referees. He has set very high standards for an international match referee. But apart from that, I spoke to his auditor, Vinay Mrutyunjaya. He said that he is the best taxpayer ever, highly ethical in all that he does. So he is not just a good cricketer, but he's an extraordinarily good human being who adheres to the laws of the land, the processes, procedures, and never ever uses his position, authority, glamour, or his status that he has been in to further his own cause. Added to that, one great quality which I think is a lesson for all of us. Whenever there was something that which he did not deserve, he would volunteer and say, please don't do this to me because I do not deserve this. See, this quality is something which is, I think, one of the greatest qualities a human being can have. When you don't deserve something, but you are still being given that, you should have the guts, the gumption, the courage to say, no, sorry, I won't accept it. Karnataka has had the greatest of the cricketers. See, if you look across the world, across the country, the cricketers of Karnataka have been the most sincere, humble, well-meaning, extremely people without ego. So I think Karnataka cricket owes a lot to people like Mr. Javagal Srinath. Incidentally, he comes from a village called Javagal, which I have visited as the Deputy Superintendent of Police in 1982 while on the way to Captain Gopi's farm near Javagal. So I think we have got one of the best persons, a sportsman. Normally, a sportsman is associated with a lot of glamour and so on and so forth. But here is a man who is humble, truthful, absolutely good in all that he does. Sir, I'll tell you that today having you has given a lot of glamour to the alumni. It has given a glamour to the Ajeet Knowledge Forum. When somebody mentioned that he was also the secretary of the Karnataka State Cricket Association when Anil Kumbhala was there, Karnataka, he in fact, all his endorsements that he got through advertising, he donated it to the Karnataka Cricket Academy. And Karnataka, which only had about 30% of turf wickets, most of it was matting wickets, but he rose it to 89%, if I'm right. Across Karnataka today, you have the finest of the cricket infrastructure, and that is, I think, one of his greatest contributions to the cricketing world in Karnataka and also to India. We also had General Ullas Talur, who spoke to us. We feel extremely proud of somebody rising to great heights in the defense of this country. Ultimately, our objective was to join the defense services. Many of us could not join, and we have tried to take our own paths. But I must thank the AKF for bringing in Lieutenant General Ullas Talur, who actually has inspired a lot of younger generations to this show. Once again, thank you, Mr. Javagal Srinath, Lieutenant General Talur, AKF, Ashok Dalwai, Satija, and your whole team, which has brought about such a splendid program today. And we are going to grow from strength to strength. Only one word that I would like to tell to my alumni is, unless the AKF or the AAA becomes financially strong, we need to get in resources into the organization. So I request each one of you to think about it. We are now on a trajectory of growth. This growth can only be ensured if we all come together, irrespective of differences of opinion on any issue. There is always a scope for discussion. And what Srinath has told us is that the best way to do it is be truthful to one another, be humble, be straightforward, and let us all come together. Let us raise resources. Today, my Karnataka Swimming Association is on a very strong ground because we have been able to raise resources through support from the civil society. But in terms of AKF, it has to be the contribution of the members of the AAA, of the extended families of the alumni, would ensure that we reach a very, very stable position so that we're able to grow more. So I thank each one of you and wishing you all Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Tomorrow is going to be a very long day. Let us all celebrate the independence. And it was very timely that Mr. Javagal Srinath was with us today, and he has inspired us to do better. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Or Ajeet hai.
Yeah. Vinay, I'm just chipping in for a minute. Hello?
Sure, sir.
Vinay, I'm chipping in a minute. I just wanted to share with all the participants here that the duty consciousness and the respect for obligations committed must be shared with you. Srinath had given us 13, that was yesterday, which is our normal schedule. But then just last week, his respected mother had a fall, and the doctor had given 13, that is Saturday, as a date for the procedure. And that was fixed at 4:30. He called me up and told me that, Ashok, this is the issue, and I'll still try to be there by 6 o'clock for your session. Then I told him that his mother's health is more important, and we certainly don't want to compromise his obligations to his loving mother. And that's how we scheduled it today. The purpose of telling this to you is that, notwithstanding the commitments at home and the concerns at home, he still decided to be with us. And he was at 5:45 p.m., the timing that we had requested him for. So we, all of us, pray for smooth and safe recovery of the respected mother of Srinath. And I'm sure she'll get well soon. And we would like to listen from Srinath that she's fine. And of course, certainly, we also take a lesson from you, how we must meet our obligations, come what may. And that has been your life. I thought I must share this with all of our friends, particularly the children who are there at different schools, and of course the youngsters who are stepping into the wildlife. So thank you very much, Vinay, for giving me this opportunity to chip in. Thank you.
Yeah. Vinay, just one more point.
Yes, sir, please.
Vinay Mrutyunjaya, Srinath, you know him very well. He told me that he's a chartered accountant, a very, very successful chartered accountant in Bangalore. He told me that Mr. Srinath Javagal's account maintenance, his payment of income tax, all statutory obligations are probably some of the best portfolios that he has been handling. Vinay told me this, and I must mention this to you, that we must be compliant with the laws of the land. Even when, of course, he got a favor out of the way, today also I found him to be a bit shy in accepting that and saying that somehow things rolled out in a different way and which you are not prepared for it. Yeah, go ahead, Vinay.
Thank you, sir. Javagal Srinath, sir. After listening to Gopal Vasur, sir, and Ashok Dalwai, sir, we have got that multifold respect to you. How a person can be this genuine in this materialistic world driven by consumerism. Hats off to you, sir. We have gained that respect truly from our heart. But I know you have been waiting patiently for a long time. We will not test your patience. Just 2 more minutes, sir, as we proceed towards the end. So we have a quick patriotic song because as we are heading into tomorrow, 15th August, by Colonel Shakil Gundagi, sir, quickly.
One second.
हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। जय हिंद। अजीत हैं, अभीत हैं।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for singing the most inspiring song. I believe each and every student watching across the country, yes, Zarur hum honge kamyab. Well, closing on a note of vote of thanks, let me invite Sri Ranga Jagannath, the director, Agora Real-Time Engagement Platform. 1418, Adil Shahi House, 1987 pass out. Sir, stage is all yours. Can you unmute yourself, sir, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Vinay, for your kind words. Well, my pulse is still racing, and it is a tough act to follow. It's been such a high octane and engaging conversation. I hope you have all enjoyed this delightful conversation with Sri Javagal Srinath as part of the ongoing initiative by the Ajeet Knowledge Forum of the AAA. It is my honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all those who helped make this event happen. Sri Javagal Srinath, Ajeet's principal and staff, Sainik School Bijapur, principals and administrative staff of the various schools and colleges that have graced the event, distinguished guests, and all those present here with us today, warm greetings once again. Sri Javagal Srinath, thank you for sharing your life's journey with us, inspiring us to take challenges head on and showing us how and why it's important to keep reinventing ourselves and the importance of finding mentors and indulging in self-introspection. A few quotes from you are worth etching in stone. Bark at the right tree to get the right knowledge. And don't take feedback as criticism, but take it as a tonic. And hardships are a part and parcel of life, are necessary. You have truly enlightened us all today with your experience and humility. Many thanks once again for taking the time to speak with us despite your very busy professional and personal schedule. Ajeet, Lieutenant General Ullas Talur sir, thank you for bringing back memories of the school and the very inspirational talk to all of us. And for the very practical advice you gave us for our conduct in our day-to-day life. Your quote, learn from your failures, put a comma, and get to the next event in life, is something to imbibe and adhere to. I would now like to thank Sainik School Bijapur for giving us the opportunity to gather here today as alumni and students. Our sincere thanks to the principals, administrators, and students of Sainik Schools, Satara, Golpara, Kalikiri, and Nagrota. Our sincere gratitude also to the principal, administrative staff, and students of NIMS College, Bangalore, Kannada Schools, Examba, CBSE, Nanadi, PU College, Nanadi, Degree College, Nanadi, PG College, Nanadi, B.Ed College, Nanadi, CBSE, Nippani, PU College, Nippani, Degree College, Nippani, KLE Engineering College, Chikkodi, and KLE Management Institute, Chikkodi. Our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to the awesome duo of Ajeet, our mentor Ashok Dalwai sir, and the president of AAA, Gopal Hosur sir, for inspiring us to reach for the stars and helping us realize our potential and work as a team. Thank you, sirs, for so wonderfully summarizing the conversation. Gopal Hosur sir, thank you for bringing out some of the personal stories from Srinath's life in front of us. This event has also benefited tremendously from the valuable inputs from our advisor, Ajeet Shashidhar Albur sir, and observer, Ajeet Vishwanath Patat sir. We would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the guidance and support of Ajeet Colonel BGV Kumar in the conduct of the events conducted at AKF in particular and AAA in general. And our sincere thanks to all the senior Ajeets who have been a forceful guiding light for all of us. We would also like to acknowledge and thank the presence of Dr. Arvind Chinchure, CEO of Deshpande Startups and a renowned academician, a corporate strategist, and an innovation leader. Moving on, Ajeet Sudarshan Satija sir, thank you for kickstarting the proceedings this evening. Thank you, Ajeet Prakash Saigavi sir, for the wonderful introduction to the guest of honor this evening, Sri Javagal Srinath. Ajeet Shakil Gundagi sir and Shivprasad Kenneth sir, thank you for beautifully anchoring the very insightful conversation with Sri Javagal Srinath. And Ajeet Vinay Patil, it is indeed a tough act, like I mentioned earlier, to follow your power-packed conduct of the event as the master of ceremonies. A big shout out to all the members and volunteers under the leadership of Ajeet Sudarshan Satija sir, Chairperson AKF, for working tirelessly and selflessly in conceptualizing and bringing this event to all of us. A big thank you to the team members and volunteers under the guidance of Ajeet Shivprasad Kenneth sir for having done a stellar job as part of the media committee. They say it takes a village to raise a family. Ajeets around the world are no less than a family. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and recognize all the Ajeets who have worked tirelessly as a family in making this event a possibility. Senior Ajeets Maltesh Jeevannavar sir, Siddharam Nadagowda sir, General Arjun Muttanna sir, and Raju Nadav sir for their presence and guidance in planning and executing the event. Ajeet Sanjeev Sindkar sir for coordinating with Ajeet Lieutenant General Ullas Talur and for delivering the excellent introduction to the General. Umesh Sajjanar, Sagar Maitri, and Pawan P. for ensuring a seamless technical experience. Commander Dr. Vivekanand Bankoli for working through the event promotion logistics and for inviting and ensuring the participation of various schools and colleges. Vijay Thakur, Sagar Maitri, Amog Bailal for the wonderful creatives and patiently working through the feedback and comments during the design and development phase. Akshay Patil for being omnipresent and ever ready across any role or function that was assigned to him. A big round of applause to each and everyone. If I have mentioned everyone's contribution in the conduct of the event, it is all thanks to the guidance of the Ajeets. Any omissions in acknowledging the contributions of Ajeets or others in the conduct of this event is completely unintentional and the mistake is solely mine. Thank you everyone once again for taking the time to be here today and for hearing me. With your presence and your interactivity, you have made it a very memorable and special event. Have a great weekend and a very happy and proud Independence Day in advance and Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Vinay, back to you.
Thank you, Ranga sir. In spite of being in Singapore, the commitment which you showed in delivering the vote of thanks. Thank you so much. Well, the best gift you can give to anyone in this world is your time, because we have very less. And Javagal Srinath sir, giving that amount of time with absolute patience, that calls for a thunderous round of digital claps all across the globe, as well as people on the video. We can give that standing ovation to Javagal Srinath sir. Thank you, sir. Amazing you are. You have earned that respect. Let's close this event. It was great conversing with Javagal Srinath himself, the legend himself. We will end with the national anthem. May I request everyone to kindly stand for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
बोलो भारत माता की जय.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.